Yeah, that was pretty much it. I did this write-up, and it was basically just gushing about how strong of a player you are, Empy. And,
Excellent. I wouldn't have
yeah,
it any other way.
well, I know, that's the British in you. You don't see it any other way.
If it's not like that, it's clearly been edited.
Fake news.
Fake news. Justin
Yeah.
Trudeau got to it. He'd been
Oh,
blackfacing
God.
again.
Oh, God, I feel like we're the United States and Britain mixed together this last week or two. It's been a gong show.
I saw some protests in Canada on the news. Some
Oh,
truck drivers are angry or something.
yeah, like they're basically like 10% of truck drivers nationwide aren't double vaxxed, and they're just demanding remove all the mandates, so they don't have to quarantine or they don't have to get given any grief going across borders. So they drove from like British Columbia, like where basically just north of where Karma lives, to Ottawa. So it's like 4 or 5 thousand kilometer trip
Wow,
to
nice.
protest. Yeah. And then it just evolved into like far right wing groups joined in, like white supremacists, like conspiracy theorists, everything. Like it was just going bananas.
Oh,
So
I thought you Canadians were better than all that.
I thought
Although
we were too.
we've had insane people like that too.
Well, I think that minority, it's just like it's in every country,
They're
right?
everywhere, yeah.
Yeah. That's
We had
like for
people
us.
going into hospitals and filming them and trying to take COVID patients out of like intensive care and stuff.
Oh yeah, we had people like over the weekend that they were breaking into like homeless and food banks and stealing all their food because they wouldn't be
Oh
let
wow.
into restaurants. So yeah,
What?
yeah,
Great.
sad man. Yeah, good times, good times all around. So
Yeah, so all this conversation is a bit irrelevant. I started recording about a minute and a half ago, so
we'll just. Do you want to just edit it out?
Whoa, I'm being recorded.
Yeah,
yeah.
the things we
What
learned.
the hell's going
Oh,
on?
yeah, buddy. This is welcome to it. We're in OD's world now.
Yeah,
Can
man.
never talk to OD again. I don't know when it's going to come back to bite me.
Well, I invited you out of politeness. I didn't actually expect you to accept my offer of hopping on voice chat with us, but
Well, you
Hot damn.
promised me just worshipping me. Of course I'm going to come.
all right. Well, so what Spy and I are doing is sort of a good, bad, and ugly for both of the teams. From Sunday's finals match. So I mean, if you think you can come up with your own sort of on the spot, I think both Spy and myself, we spent some time writing a couple of notes down and that sort of thing. But if you feel you can do it on the spot, MP, you're welcome to come up
Ooh.
with your own list as well. But,
I'd have to see the films, really. I don't remember much.
well, I mean, keep
But
in mind this is not like super serious.
Oh yeah, no, like amps. I put down. I have like 2 or 3 sentences for each thing, like the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like just a couple points, just saying what I saw. Like over, it was more just like we're just trying to do like a broad strokes, just talking about the tournament. So
Oh, sure.
Okay, and just so you guys know, I'm just basically gonna run some of these videos. I'm just gonna turn on the auto camera just so because I'm gonna upload this to YouTube. Just so people can actually like see a video instead of just us on a blank screen. So,
yeah, sounds good.
but I don't think we're gonna talk like what I'm showing and what we're gonna talk about. They're not really gonna correlate. I'm just gonna,
No, I don't think. I think we just. I think if you can edit out that first like 3 or 4 minutes, basically to where we actually start talking about the games in the tournament, and then yeah, just throw on some of the like I'd say games from anywhere, like the finals or anything, like any ones you want to go with. You know what I mean?
I'm just playing some games, showing some games with the auto camera. It's game one of the finals.
Okay, cool.
But
Yeah, yeah.
but anyway,
Have you got a link to the games? So we can at least see the stats.
it's all in the Discord, man. Like go to the finals tab, and then the Gata Storms links are all there. So.
MP, I found it. If I can find it, you can find it.
I'm trying. Final snake draft?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it's just right there. OD so lovingly posted them in such great order.
Yeah, that first game went pretty well for us.
Yeah, and then it was all downhill once Karma showed up.
Exactly, so he takes all the blame.
Yeah, for sure.
Game on.
Yeah.
Just a
Okay.
bad
So
captain.
why don't we get started?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I guess I'll go first person because I don't want to be an analyst, but I will. I do have some choice things to say when we analyze our team. But let's start with the victors. Let's start with the team that won 7-1-1. That would of course be Team Karma. Why don't we start with the good? So Empy, since you're the guest, why don't you go first? What did you see that was good out of your team on Sunday?
I thought our cannoning was pretty good actually, because we had some of those weird games where you're forced to have the cannon. Seemed like at least our team did a lot more with the cannons than you guys. I know Walt got quite a few kills with the cannon. I think Gur had a few of them as well.
Okay, yeah, I mean that definitely makes sense. Your canon works. We can talk about that a little later. Spy, what did you have for the good?
I think just the team overall. I think that was my biggest point. Is just with the group of individuals that were sort of formed together and picked by Karm, is that everyone was really strong in their own respect. So we just played well together, even though like some of the games turned into a bit of a dumpster fire. It's just that everyone was really skilled, really confident. They could sort of take on every role. So people would be cannoning. Some games they would just be rushing or just like plugging defense. I think that was the biggest thing for us, is that we just had a really solid team. So that talent kind of shined through every part of the game. Even when we were messing up or suiciding, like we could still sort of get through it and still kind of control the game and play it the way we wanted to play it.
Okay, yeah, I mean that's good. For me, I'm taking the Euros. I think generally everybody on your team, was played as expected. But
Yeah.
I think that the only two players who exceeded expectations were Father Xmas and Empy.
Yeah,
Prior
for
to the tournament, I raised Father Xmas's Zook rating from 3.5 to 4, and I think he definitely justified that upgrade with his play. I didn't personally fight him too much during the finals. I think he was off distracting perhaps Kryptos or Hobbes or somebody like that. But that really allowed Karma and you, Spy, to sort of do your own thing because our best player was occupied or whatever. And I think
Yeah,
he
for sure.
fulfilled that role extremely well. As far as Empy, he mentioned earlier the cannons. I completely agree. He got a double kill on me, maybe on multiple occasions. He got me, several times. Very frustrating. I don't typically associate Empy as a cannon player.
Oh, same here, but it played really well.
Because admittedly, he says that his strengths are dodging and gunfighting and that sort of thing. So to see him manning the cannon, putting some great shots down, it shows what kind of a diverse player he is, and he could sort of slip into any role that he's given. And so,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
why I think the good from Team Karma, if we're talking about who outperformed expectations, I would give it to the European players.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with that. Like, once sort of Karma and I and Dur all got on the same team, like we know how we play, and so we're gonna play that way. So having Empy, having Father Xmas, and Leonardo was a huge asset playing defense and just sort of keeping like the all-seeing eye on the board as well on the map, so there'd just be constant chatter as well, just to say this is what's happening. And I think the good, for sure, like Father Xmas and Empy really shined bright through most of the games, getting a lot of damage. But I would go back to Walter. He played like way beyond what he did the last couple of years in terms of getting into World War II, since he's such a fresh start into it. Yeah, he was crushing with the cannons, and just overall with units. Like he wasn't just quick to death. That he was playing, like being a great support player, like playing with like healing people, just being an awesome support player and not trying to play beyond his means either. So that was really great to see. Like a really good addition to the team.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I didn't know Walter White was, on cannon duty. I would have assumed it was Empy and Leo, but you know, if you say, I mean, I didn't really check who was on what. I just know that.
I think he did a few rushes swamps and snuck behind as well a few
Yeah,
times.
yeah,
So
exactly.
he wasn't just on the cannons.
No, for sure. Like he played a pretty strong role. Like we just said, it's like, yeah, just do, like, just create havoc and just go for it, and just keep us keep close to keep us in the loop of what's going on. So he got behind the starts quite a few times, and yeah, it was just fun to have him on the team. He played really well.
Well, the voice helps a lot too, because
Yeah,
I think
for
we
sure.
were almost all on voice, and you guys,
I think that was a huge.
like 3 of you on voice, maybe.
Yeah, I think the only person not on voice for us was Leonardo, or Stonewall, or yeah. So I think that
Is
was a
he
huge
Stonewall?
advantage. Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
You're not allowed to say that. Maybe that's why he hides his voice.
Yeah. So I think that was a huge benefit for us too. We were just chatting the whole time. and
How
just
drunk
sort
was
of-
Jahral on voice?
I don't know, man. You know, when you hear him once, I mean, you hear him all the time. You
Yeah,
can't really
that's true.
tell if he's more or less.
Very true.
You know, if he's had more or less to drink. But anyway, yeah. So I don't want to keep this dragging on for too long. So.
Oh, for sure. Let's keep
So,
going.
Empy, again, as the guest, why don't you let us know what you think was bad on your team?
No, oh god, our urban recon game went pretty bad, didn't it?
Yeah.
Got off to a
Yeah.
great start. We killed 3 of your cannons, and then we kind of just suicided them. I know I just floated my chopper over, I think, your tank OD, not realizing they have a minimum range on the missiles, and you just destroyed it.
Yeah,
it was
they
something
do
else.
have a minimum range. That's
So
why
I
they
was
get
just
better.
pressing T on your tank, thinking, oh, why is it not dying? And then, yeah, I just got blown up.
Yeah, typically the way missiles work is they shoot forward, so you can't shoot them down. You know what I mean?
Could have bombs, shouldn't they?
Maybe you should talk to you know, the creators, Ozone. And
Ozone, I'll get on
Yeah,
to him.
yeah.
Yes.
Just send
I'll-
him a strongly worded email.
Yeah.
I've got many bug reports ready for him.
Okay. Well, we look forward to the improved World War II version, thanks
Yeah.
to your due diligence.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got choppers, the urban recon game. Spy, what did you not like about your performance, or Team Karma's performance on Sunday?
Well, I didn't. Yeah, well, I didn't like my performance through most of the games, to be honest. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I think it just came down to that. I found once we got past the first game, I found overall our care factor kind of just dropped off quite a bit. And so we were just playing, especially when that urban recon game was going on. But I'm going to save that for the ugly because it definitely deserves the ugly award. But I would say that we just kind of turned into individual play, and it was like, okay, let's see if this works, and then things would implode drastically, and we would just kind of laugh about it and just keep trying to play. So the structure that we had in the first game kind of melted really quickly, and it just turned into, let's see what we can do, and just kind of play as individuals instead of playing as a team. Like, we talked a lot, but we kind of just did our own thing a lot of the time. So I would say that was the most notable thing for me, is that we just kind of stretched it out and just played as individuals for a lot of the game, like myself included.
So you're saying that you guys tried to get cute.
Yeah,
All about the
yeah,
ratios.
we tried to get cute and just play just do ridiculous plans. Like, we wouldn't do the classic strategies. They were just like, let's just try this or go for this, or especially in that combat game at the end, when we were taking 3 cannons, kind of blew up in our face the second time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys were having a good time, so.
Yeah. So it's not even necessarily bad. It's more so just the game switched a lot, to being that first game was, I'd say, pretty dominant, and then it just kind of delved into, let's see what happens next. So.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, so for me, the bad, considering the score of the finals, 7-1 to 1, it's really hard to pin down any one specific aspect.
Yeah, for sure.
I will say that Team Xenophon, they did sort of run roughshod in the backfields in a lot of the games.
Definitely.
They were always, whether it was Hobbes, whether it was Kryptos, they were always sort of behind the base doing their thing. And so, maybe something like buttoning up the flanks a little bit, just being a little more aware of the backfield. But at this point, it was just really kind of nitpicking. Obviously, considering the score, Team Karma played extremely well, so
Yeah.
there's not much bad there. So.
Yeah, and I think that's like with the flanks. Like I think you guys executed those really well, like getting behind our flag and getting behind our base and everything for most of the games. But and we knew you guys were there, but a lot of it was like, okay, yeah, just let it just keep just push them off, don't press them too hard, just keep doing what we're doing. So I think sort of that energy that you guys spent on trying to do those big flanks and get behind, since we didn't really engage or care that much, I think that if that was spent taking us head on, pushing hard, I think there could have been some big changes in the games. But that I don't actually know. That's kind of just a shot at that.
All right, now to the ugly. Empy, what do you got?
Oh god. That game where we took 3 cannons, was it S2? That was pretty ugly. That was quite a beating.
I think that was
I think that was
game 4.
6, 7, somewhere 5, 6, 7.
It went, that went pretty bad. Yeah, maybe we got a bit overconfident, thought we could win with 3 cannons, but it didn't work.
yeah, I think it was game 6.
Yeah, I mean, I was under the impression you guys were just throwing that game, and as the British say, you guys were just taking the piss.
Yeah, I think there definitely was part of that, OD. I think our conversation was if we lose, we get more games. If we win, we win. So it's a win-win for us from the almighty karma. I think that's what we kind of went into that game, those last couple of games thinking. Either way, we just had such a margin that we could sort of just be silly geese and play the way we want to play and just have some fun. And if it blows up, okay, it sucks, but we'll just play. We'll go to the next game. So, yeah, okay. I think we'd agree with you.
I understand. So was that your ugly as well, Spy, or did you have something else?
No, I think it has to be that. I think it has to be that urban game. There's nothing comparing to that. We still all got big damages, and it turned into a tie. You guys held on and played really strong to force that tie. Especially I think you were the sole tank at the end, OD, which was so you had a massive game, really defending your base and playing on there. But yeah, it was. I think there's things that happened in that game that I've never seen before. I've never team killed a chopper with a tank before. We team killed another chopper. It was. Yeah, we were up so much, and I think we suicided 35% maybe within the first 5 minutes, and then it was just, I think we were all just saying what the shit is going on. So I think we were all pretty bamboozled by it, so that was definitely my ugly. We were playing super strong, because I think we got your chopper right at the start of it, and then we just imploded in a spectacular way. It still turned out a fun game, but it was just the weirdest implosion I've ever seen in an urban game after starting so strong. So,
I think Empy said the ugly for him was the 3 cannon game, and then you said your ugly is the Carnage game, which was game 2, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
they're both ugly, but I would say they're both dumpster fires. But I would say, I think that 3 cannon game, we went into it thinking that. This could be a dumpster, but let's go for it. We don't know how this is going to go since we had so few soldiers. But with the urban game, we talked about it before we started, about okay, should we do this pick now or should we do it later in case you guys got a couple wins? So or no, let's do this and we'll just we're going to crush them. So and then we get in and we crush ourselves. So
got it. So here's sort of when I'm gonna start going into the Stephen A mode right here.
Yeah, get Stephen, bro.
All right. Well, I respect what you're saying. I respect what both you and Empy are saying, but you're wrong. And here's why. I'm gonna ask you right here, Spy. What were the original rules of the finals?
Oh man, you're asking me something that I don't even know, and it's my tournament.
Is it your tournament?
Well, I mean, it's probably 60-40 OD to me.
Okay, well, I'm glad we have that on the record because I will be publishing that statement on YouTube for the world to hear.
Oh god, is our victory void? Has Spy cheated us?
No, I don't think Oh, we're basically gonna do like we had a group of map picks. We're gonna do a neutral game to start, and then it was gonna be, winner picks after that. So.
Okay, well let me just kind of help you out a bit. As
Thanks.
far as
I always need your help, OD.
as far as who wins the finals matchup, what were the conditions for winning the match originally?
A sec, let me look.
Scroll through Discord, Spy.
Yeah, I am scrolling so hard right now. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank right now, man. Because I'm looking at it right now.
What does Marcellus Wallace look? Sorry, that's a Pulp Fiction. Okay, so was it first to 3 wins?
Yeah, it was first to 3, and then we said that we were gonna stretch it over 2 weeks because Karma wasn't gonna be available.
Okay,
So we're
it
gonna
originally started as 1 day, first to 3 wins.
Yeah.
Okay, and
then we did
what was the start time of that tournament?
2 Eastern.
2 Eastern. So let me ask you this: why was there a practice game played at 11:07 my time, which would have been 2:07 Eastern time?
Well, now you're just nitpicking. It's because not all the people hadn't showed up yet. So we're like, let's do a warm-up 2-team random game, and we'll go from there.
Okay,
and then everyone was in
let me
agreement.
ask you this question: at 11:07 or prior, did you know that Karma was going to be there at the top of the hour?
I don't believe. Let me check the private messages.
Oh, are you accusing us of some skullduggery?
Yeah, are you? I
I'm
feel
not
like there's
accusing-
some
I'm just stating
accusation.
facts.
I'd like to point out
Oh.
the first game we won without Karma was probably our best game. If we're going into facts, Odie.
It doesn't show timestamps, but we were already playing. We were already in the second game when we started. When I got that message from Karma.
Yeah, but couldn't
'Cause
you
I remember-
argue that the first game should have been played at 11:07, even if all the players hadn't shown up? And it just so happens that Karma shows up on the 4th game, and the original rules were first to 3 wins. I'm not saying that Team Xenophon, is going to win 3 games in a row, but don't you think it's a bit suspicious?
I mean, I guess if you're that intense about trying to find some skullduggery, you could find that. But I think, since you know me quite well and know my flighty space ghost behavior, that it would take a lot more. It would take a lot more dedication to do that skullduggery. Is that there was nothing ever implied or tried to happen with this?
Yeah,
Is that's just way beyond. That's just way beyond my means, man. I was
I'm saying
expected
is
to.
if
I thought
we-
I was going to
if- I
cap
think
the
if-
whole time.
I think if we keep peeling back this onion, we're
Okay,
gonna,
let's keep
we're
peeling
gonna
it.
find some, as you call it, skullduggery, and I think Karma is going to be sort of at the center of all of it. And
Okay, so I'll send you. To help put this skullduggery to bed, I'm going to PM you the conversation that him and I had. That was our whole conversation. Neither of us are big talkers. So he sent me a message while we were already playing saying we're going to be 45 minutes or so. I think it was in the urban game that I sent him a message, that he sent that message. And I sent a message to the guy saying, yeah, he's going to be here. He should be here in like 20 or 30 minutes. But we continued playing. There was no delays. Yeah, I apologize because I know you're super punctual, a lot more punctual than I am. So I will apologize for that. But there was no intended skullduggery going on.
okay, well, Karma's actions are questionable, like they always are. But now I turn to you, Spy. You tied for second with Xenophon, and you denied the World War II community what they all wanted, which was to see Team Spy versus Team Karma round 2 from the 2020 tournament finals. What was your thought process behind that?
My main thought process was I didn't think actually anybody wanted to see that other than like maybe you and 1 or 2 other people. And I had played so poorly that day that I didn't want. I was just kind of over it. So I used my right as second place to cap or defer, just staying within the letter of the rules. And I talked to Xenophon, and I just explained. Him and I chatted after the fact, saying, "Are you good with this? That I'll cap if you don't want to. I'm not trying to dump that on you." But
Okay.
honestly, I was just shook by my play, and I thought Xeno played a lot stronger, and he deserved to run that second team, and that I could just play a support player.
Okay, so when you say that me and one or two other people, and when you consider that, the World War II community is really just about 5 people, you're admitting that about, either somewhere between 40 and 60% of the World War II community wanted to see this matchup.
Well, I say that's a stretch, saying that there's only 5 players, even based on like bringing Myth out of a coma, and that was the main reason to do this tournament.
But who for one brought Myth out of the coma?
I'd say it was a team effort. As a Canadian, I'm not going to say it was an individual effort. I'd say it was all of us just playing consistent games and getting this tournament going.
It was COVID. We all know it.
Well, I definitely COVID plays a huge part of it.
Yeah.
But like,
Oh dear,
yeah,
you involved in the release of COVID by any chance?
Yeah,
I
would
lived
say
in
it's like
China
equal.
for 5 years, and beyond that, I'm staying silent.
Oh,
Was it
Jesus.
Wuhan by any chance?
yeah.
No, but I did know a guy from Wuhan.
Oh,
God! See
plot
how
thickens.
talk about peeling back an onion, OD. Don't try to project all your shit on me. Like this is what it's really about.
But what I'm really wondering, though, is
Yeah.
why did you abscond from being team captain? You let Xenophon be team captain, and then you just magically wind up on Karma's team.
He didn't have Raper to carry him.
Yeah. Yeah, I
As
remember
far as
that for
concerned,
sure.
you're as filthy as he is, and this whole tournament should be void.
But I don't even see how you can call me. I played within that. It was right from the first rules is that the second team cap gets to defer or run the team. I chatted with Zeno after the fact, saying I think you deserve, like we both know you deserve. Zeno actually sent me a message yesterday saying thanks for letting him be cap. I think it was the better choice of letting him be captain, and then we gave him the choice. We
I don't
gave
care
the
about
captains
choices.
the choice.
I don't care about better choices. I care about statistics. And
Yeah, I know you're the
both of
Excel
you-
god.
Both of you
And I'm the
had
exact
same amount
opposite,
of
OD.
points.
I'm the exact
You were
opposite.
the more efficient player if we're talking about productivity, if we're talking about firepower, etc., which I spent a not insignificant amount of time on, I might add.
No,
You had the better
and be that as
stats.
a and
You should
in
have been the
respect
second
that
captain.
I've given you nothing but kudos through all of this. For putting
It's
in all
not a
that
myth
work behind the
tournament
scenes.
unless it's been rigged. The
Yeah,
riggery is
but I
tradition
don't
in a
think
myth
there's I don't
tournament.
think there's I don't think there's any riggery at all. That I thought there was going to be. I thought the draft was going to go completely different. Is that and Carm said the same thing. Is that I thought Zeno had first pick, so I thought he was going to choose Guerrilla or like the next strongest players, like statistically, and then or Kryptos, like all top choices, and then it was going to go like we gave him the choice of either pick way, like ABBA or AABA, so put it in his court. So I thought the draft was going to go completely different, and that I was going to be playing against Karma. And it was news to me when I saw the team set up. So
Yeah, that was
and
actually
then
a good decision by Karma because I looking at the field of players, I think there was sort of a steep drop off in terms of like World War II skills and that kind of thing, and sort of you, Guerrilla, and Kryptos were kind of the top 3 available players, and I think from Karma's point of view, like all 3 of you guys are more or less interchangeable. So it was like, well, can I just take 2 of these guys, or should I just take 1? And even though they're all more or less the same, and then the 4th and 5th picks, are sort of irrelevant because the drop off is. Well, I don't want to.
I wouldn't see drop off. I think that's being like considering like how you guys like below those top 3 picks, like you said, like everyone, like yourself, Empy, Fats, like everyone played super strong, so it's hard to make a clear distinction. I think like any of the picks would have been good, but both, like we talked about it a lot during the finals games, is that we didn't see the draft going that way ever. Like that was completely like random, and kind of boggled me how the draft went. So, and I think the same for Karma, and I think the same for pretty much everybody.
Okay, so
So
let's just imagine an alternate universe here then.
yeah,
Let's imagine that you actually did have a spine and you did decide to be the captain and
jeez,
going up
OD
against
just coming in hot.
It's a bit
Really
personal
embracing
now,
that
yeah.
Steven. Yeah.
and let's assume again that Karma deferred and took the second and third picks. Who would you be taking first overall?
I probably would have taken Guerrilla or Kryptos. Like it's got to be one of the two. And that's not throwing any shade at anybody else, because I'm like happy to have everybody on the team because they're all really strong in their own way. But yeah, I think it would have been Guerrilla or Kryptos for sure, and then I would have just seen who. I think the next ones would have been like yourself, Empy, Fats. Those would have been my next picks because I assumed Kryptos and Xeno or Kryptos or whoever would have been picked by Karma next. And then I think it would have just been grabbing whoever I could to play those role players, to have someone like, play more defense, because I don't like playing defense a lot, so it would have been trying to build a team from that.
Okay, so Spy and Guerrilla, and then assuming Karma takes the other player and someone else after that.
Yeah.
Do you think that would have been more fair in terms of competitive games?
I think it could have been, because it could have balanced it out, but then, like I said, I thought Xeno would have naturally picked like Guerrilla or Kryptos or myself as the top, and then it would have flipped back and forth to balance them out more. I think it was I think the games were the balance and the scale was kind of like tipped really heavily in Karma's favor, just based on the way the draft went. Like I think Xeno could have had just as strong a team that I would have picked if the picks were different. And that's not slighting you because you were top picked overall for a reason. I just think that if it was picked differently, it would have really balanced the games out. And then you guys were missing players too. So
Okay, so essentially you're saying had you been captain, the games would have been more balanced. Everyone would have had a more pleasant experience. The tournament would have been better. You decided not to be
No.
captain, and so
no, I'm not saying that at all.
everybody had a miserable time, pretty much.
I think we've just entered the OD spin zone, because that's the exact opposite of what I said. I said if the draft went differently, then it would have been a complete, like the games would have been different naturally. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
Is
so
that it
you
didn't
mean
have to
had
be
the
me.
draft been different, as in you were the
No,
captain?
if the captains that were there picked differently, it would have been a lot more balanced. But I wasn't in control of that, and I think Xeno deserved that second to be captain. So
you're saying it's Xenophon's fault?
I'm not saying I don't think there's any fault. I'm just saying Xeno picked totally different than I think most of us would have picked, and that defined the way the games went. So
Okay, so let's say somebody had a miserable experience. Who would that person hold accountable for that miserable experience?
I think they'd have to hold themselves accountable, because if they had a miserable experience, it means that they kind of just gave in to the doom and gloom of feeling like, oh, we're playing against a stacked team, so I'm just going to give into it instead of just doing whatever they could to win. So I don't know. I think it's a shirking responsibility to put that on other people.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, Empy, are you still here? Sorry.
I'm still here, yeah. It got a bit heated. I thought we were in
Yeah.
court all of a sudden.
Yeah, I know. That was the spotlight was on me. I thought we were just having a friendly wrap-up conversation.
Of course,
OD,
we're all friends
OD,
here. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
OD has some grievances. Jesus.
We're having a good time. We're just having
I thought it was just a chat, and yeah,
Yeah.
it got
we're
toxic
just having
very
a
quickly.
I think-
discussion. All right.
I think the Commonwealth has a chat a different way than Americans have a chat. So,
I
This
mean,
is the
yeah.
equivalent of getting a coffee. Don't come on.
buddy,
You mean
I've
a
never
nice
had a
cup of
coffee like
tea?
this.
I don't know. All right, come on. All right, so yeah, that was the first half. This is going on a lot longer than I have to get back to work soon.
So was this your ugly thing, OD? You were talking about the draft was your ugly moment.
No, I
was
think-
it?
Yeah, the
I
ugly
think-
for
I
me
think-
is the corruption of the tournament itself. The people who made,
Yeah.
look, if we assume that me, Karma, and Spy more or less hosted the tournament, that means 66 and 2/3% of the tournament
Well,
operators were
geez.
against me.
We weren't against you at all.
Everybody
OG.
is always.
I don't
against me.
understand.
I know what you're
I
talking
don't
about.
understand. I don't understand this persecution complex. Like, I don't
The
get
ugly
it at
for
all.
you should be walking off your balls in that alliance game.
Yeah, yeah. I think you're.
We
I
will
think.
get back to that later. Don't worry about that. All right.
24-year-old
I
game.
think it's. I think it's pretty. I think it's pretty aggressive, and passive aggressive. Might I add, to try to put it like, oh well, the team clearly cheated because that's why they won. No, it just came down to the draft win in favor of Karma's based on his picks. So it just was heavily
so based
weighted.
off the fact that we had to change the rules for him, even though he ended up showing up on the day that he was supposed
Hey,
to be
listen.
gone.
Hey, listen. Hey, OD, who changed the rules? I didn't change the rules.
You
Karma and I
changed the
talked.
rules.
Karma and I talked and just said, hey, I'll just cap. Don't worry about showing up. Like, you do your thing skiing. And then you sent me a message saying we're going to stretch it into 2 weeks so Karma can be there the second week. So
Yeah, but
let's
he
not get this
proposed
twisted.
that.
Yeah, you could have said no.
I
You
didn't
could
have
have
the
said
power
no.
to say no. It was your tournament, man. You
The
and
way
Carter
that the
it?
message, the way that the message came across. Let me find the message. Oh my god.
All right, let's move on.
No.
Let's just
No,
let's
we're just having a
assume that
chat.
Karma
We're
and
just having a
Spy are
chat.
corrupt, and there needs to be an investigation.
So is the tournament void then, OD? Gonna have to replay everything.
Well, I don't know
Oh,
because I believe that the Zookfest tournament was void because
Yeah,
I
because
had
I don't
to
know what
forfeit
happened there.
because his team Xenophon didn't even show up.
Whoa,
So
whoa,
out
whoa!
of-
We were
but
gonna
that's
play
the-
down.
But that's the thing. That's the thing, OD. You shouldn't have forfeit. You could have won that if you didn't forfeit. You forfeit out of frustration.
No, I
So-
forfeited out of class and in the best interest of everybody not wasting their time.
We were willing to play men down then that game.
Anyway,
I can't remember who turned up, but that's a few years old.
Let's stay on topic here. Team Xenophon. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Empy, again, you're the guest, and I think, Spy has sort of hogged the spotlight in terms of who's speaking the most. So why don't we start with you? What was good about Team Xenophon?
Ooh, good. Well, Urban Recon, you guys, good comeback on that, really good. And probably a couple more minutes, you guys would have won it, seeing as you had the tank left, so that was good.
Who was the one who had the tank? I don't remember.
I think that was you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I
Oh,
thought that was you
yeah,
at the end.
I was just making sure.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Humble brag. Yeah, no, that was a good comeback.
Yeah, great comeback. You guys grinded this down.
Okay. Spy, what was good about Team Xenophon?
I think that you guys still played really well together. And even after the first couple games, like you came back and won that 3-can game, that you still played strong throughout. You could tell that you guys were getting a bit frustrated just from the talking and lobby after games. But I think it's still a strong team. Like if you guys had that extra player or two that you were missing, it could have been drastically different. But yeah, I think you guys still played really well as a team. That you pushed us to the limit a couple games for sure. And then, yeah, I still say that urban game, it comes back to that urban game, is that you guys just grinded us down, played really well, played really strong defense. So it was really good to see that.
Okay, so we played a tournament where the final score was 7-1. The one win that Team Xenophon did win, they threw the game. And you say that we played well as a team.
Well, yeah, because you were still, that's the thing, even though we got 3 cannons in some games, it's not like we were just suiciding. We were still playing, and playing to win, but you guys just outplayed us a couple games. That we got a little too, I don't know if cocky is the right word, but I think you guys just outplayed us some games. That is still, even though you might have lost the game overall, you still outplayed us in a couple of those games. And if it was for 1 or 2 soldier differences or 1 or 2 deaths, that it would have been, I don't think the overall score is indicative of how you guys played. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, fair enough. So for me, I was right there, seeing things firsthand, and I'm gonna say that I was extremely impressed with X, aka the Nasty One, who I believe he changed his name to that a couple days ago. I conservatively gave him 3.5 Zooks in the threat assessments. I think he's probably at the 4 Zook level. He was his stats might not indicate it because, of course we were getting destroyed every game, but he was on voice chat with us. He sounded like a nice person. He can dodge, he can shoot, he can zook. He's got the situational awareness. I've played a lot with him during the night games at Kryptos or whoever hosts, and he can definitely hold his own. I think he just, if there is anything good that came out of the car crash, that is the Team Xenophon performance, I think it's the emergence of X or the nasty one. And I feel that once he gets better at the alternative maps, such as Zookville and Urban Recon or whatever, he might pull a Xenophon and actually, be a captain in one of these future tournaments, if we have any future tournaments.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. That he played really well. Like, I had no idea who he was. Even he just sort of showed up and started playing. So I think that kind of showed him my threat assessment. I just didn't have a lot to go on. But yeah, he played really strong, like in pretty much every game. And I would say the same, like for yourself and for Kryptos and Xeno. Like, it was great to see Kryptos back. He was definitely one of the MVPs of the team. Just played really strong throughout. Like, you could see that he still has that talent. So that was really great to see as well.
Yeah, and if you didn't go to bed so early, I mean, you could stay for some of the, Empy, you know what I'm talking about. Some of these games are pretty good that happen.
Oh yeah.
Midnight my time, probably like 3 in the morning your time.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It might not be realistic, but some of these late night games are fun.
Oh yeah.
I would say in many ways, more lively than the afternoon.
The afternoon,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah,
For sure. It'd be great. Like, it'd be awesome to do those late night games with you. But it's just like I'm up at usually like 5:30, 6 in the morning. So like any time past, like, it'd be awesome. I'd love to be able to do some of those late night games because they do look super competitive. So we'll see if I can do it.
But caffeine pills are cheap,
Flag
man.
lost.
Yeah, caffeine. Maybe I should just stay up all night. Maybe that's what I should do instead of trying to sleep. So.
Or you can go to sleep even earlier than you already do, so you can wake up.
And then just wake up.
3 o'clock in the morning, and then boom, you'll be the fresh
See,
one.
buddy?
Well, actually, Empy will still be the fresh one, but
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's basically I get up and you guys are still playing.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, yeah, that's OD. That's why you are and always will be the brains of this operation. So, you have ideas like that. I wouldn't have thought of that. So, nicely done.
All right. So hold on, I need to upload another one of these videos. Wait.
I hope you saw the message I just sent you, OD. I hope you saw it. Just going back to what we were speaking about before.
Yeah. I don't want to hear your fake news. Anyway.
I'm going to send it to Empy as well.
So Empy, what would you say was the bad for Team Xenophon?
I guess I don't know. Was your team not very experienced with some of the other maps like Zookville? I don't know, because a couple of your players are sort of coming back, and maybe a few newer players. Maybe some of them hadn't played those maps before.
Yeah, I obviously, I've played a fair amount of the other maps.
Zookville, Urban Recon. Yeah, I don't know if your team sort of knew the maps maybe as well as ours.
Well, I know, Xenophon, he's played with us, for the last, year and a half or something. So
yeah, I'm
he
thinking
should
more
know that map.
Kryptos, X, Omicron. You had him in Urban Recon, but he actually dropped that game. I'm not sure why. And I don't think
he basically, let me quote, he said something along the lines of, "Now I know why Hobbes isn't playing this game," or something. Because Hobbes said I think
doesn't
he was
want to
under the
play
impression
Urban
that
Recon.
Hobbes
Yeah.
didn't like our team, so he left. And he was like, "Yeah, I understand why Hobbes is not playing with you guys anymore." And then he dropped. So I don't know what happened.
Nice. Yeah.
He was obviously an unsatisfied customer. So,
Oh dear.
yeah, who knows?
And
But
maybe voice, not having voice chat as sort of strong as ours. Obviously, you're gonna suffer with that a bit. I know Hobbes did come on later on, but for the first few games he wasn't there, was he?
I think he came on voice chat for game 3, because I remember we were talking to him during the Urban Recon game, and he was talking about
Planes,
football
planes,
and
planes.
stuff like that. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was a bit critical of me that, I was saying, who goes planes these days? It's a 20-plus-year-old strategy, blah, blah, blah. But,
Yeah,
I
he
don't
took
think,
that to heart.
I don't think he realized that I literally go planes every single game. And so he thought maybe he thought I was being serious about it. I don't know. But, yeah, anyway, let's move this along. Spy, the bad for Team Xenophon.
I think it's pretty much what Empy said. Not having voice chat, or not having the whole team on voice chat was definitely a disadvantage. Just trying to keep up and keep things going in real time. And then, yeah, maybe not like map awareness about the other maps, and then some of the team players just straight up refusing to play those maps was definitely put you at a clear disadvantage because you just didn't have those players with you. And then I think my third thing for it was, yeah, just not sort of sticking to like classic strategies, like just doing like heavy planes or doing like concerted efforts together versus just sort of going and doing your own thing. Like I would see Hobbes playing a lot just with one unit still, when we would be coming at him with like 2 or 3 units each at a time. So it kind of was the way the game sort of played out, kind of doomed to fail in some respects, just because of that. It didn't seem like there was like a clear directive on how to play the games, so it kind of came back to bite you guys.
Okay. Yeah. That definitely makes sense, and I would say that all of that was definitely bad. But I would also say that if we're talking about things like the voice chat, if we're talking about the unbalanced teams, or these are all sort of sunk costs, if you will, of the tournament. And if Xenophon doesn't want to get on voice chat, okay, fine. Even
Yeah,
though
for sure.
at that point 5 out of 6 of us were on voice chat, and
Yeah.
so the only person not on voice chat was the captain of our team.
Yeah, it's a tough look. It's a tough look for sure.
But for me, the bad thing for Team Xenophon, easily avoidable. I ask you this: Spy and Empy, when we play S2, with no unit or whatever, so someone has to have a cannon. Who usually gets that cannon?
Well, probably one of the weaker players or the captain.
That's kind of the wrong answer. I'm thinking more along the lines of a certain player.
You? It should clearly go to you right away.
Yeah, and just to clarify to the audience, I am not, or Overdose is not, one of the weaker players, as Empy implied. So
No. No, my
that.
OD. I hope you heard my answer. Is that either the captain or Overdose? Those were my 2 choices, or Scratch if he's there, because Scratch is top notch as well.
Yeah, shout out to Scratch if he's out there somewhere.
He's filming.
Definitely...
He's filming.
What'd you say?
But he's filming. Woody Harrelson.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, hopefully he wraps up whatever film he's working on, and he starts playing some games with us. Anyway, so going back to what I believe the bad was for Team Xenophon, we sort of established the fact that I sometimes get the cannon. How many times have you seen Xenophon with a cannon during some of these games? Just random casual games.
It's pretty rare, I would say. Doesn't happen that much. But I think there's pretty clear people that want a cannon or that the cannon goes to based on how they've played with it. So. Okay,
so then I'm asking myself, why the heck does this guy have 2 cannons every single time we're playing Recon? Why didn't Overdose rather get at least one of the 4 cannons in Urban Recon? Why didn't he get a super cannon in Zookville? Basically, the only cannon that Overdose got was the one cannon he gave himself during the S4 game, which again was a fraudulent game with corrupt rules. So he didn't even get to fire the cannon.
Now, were you asking him for these cannons? Did you? Because you got in voice chat. So were you typing? I'm sure if you spoke to him, he would give you them, or did he not?
I asked him several times to give me a cannon. Maybe not so much the first game, but I told him, I was drawing lines on the map. I was saying, move your creep your cannons forward as you fire, because you need to sort of maximize the zone of, the fire zone or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, just what they can actually do.
Yeah, but he kept his cannons next to the flag, which sort of minimizes the fire zone, and it caused our planes push, because I think that we actually won the initial planes engagement on several occasions.
Yeah, you did for sure. Yeah, especially
then,
that first game.
But then once the cannons start firing, when we get some momentum going, then we're forced to back off because we just don't have that support, and then we inevitably get pushed nearly all the way back to our base because our cannons were not in a forward position to lend any support, and so we just kind of got pushed. It was sort of a 1 step forward, 2 steps back kind of thing, and the presence of the cannons is almost more important than the cannon shots themselves. And I think that just Team Xenophon, they just didn't have the proper position for the artillery, and it sort of hastened their demise, if you will.
Yeah, I would agree with that completely, especially those, because I never even really looked, especially with the giving out the cannons, who was getting them on your team. I don't think any of us really looked. We just assumed that it would go to the people that normally played the cannons, like yourself. So that was definitely, I think, a misplay.
Yeah, and I think I'm not going to say that I was the best cannon player on the team, because that maybe someone like Kryptos, who is of course a World War II legend in his own right, but I don't think him manning the cannons would be a good idea, because he's basically the best player on our team. He shouldn't sort of be wasting his time with that kind of stuff. But I would say that I hate complimenting this player, or I also hate complimenting or comparing himself to me. But I would say, in terms of gunfighting, I would say Xenophon and myself were more or less on par with each other. But I would definitely have more experience with the cannons, so it might have made more sense for him to get the soldiers and for me to get the cannons. And we would have had the same amount of output, except I would have known where to go with the cannons. I would have been moving forward and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It might have put us in the position to do a little better than we did. So.
Yeah, completely. I think you guys, I think that was one of the things I was trying to say, is that if you played to your strengths more, like doing exactly what you said, it would have made a huge difference. Like that's what we did the first game of S2, like the neutral game, is that I had Leo and Walter doing D and patrolling swamps. And then they had the cannons, and then the rest of us just went mid and plains and just controlled the rest. So, and it works. I think we won by, 65% margin or something like that. So, just because it was, for Leo, he's a lot better defensively than I am. The same with Walt. So, I better going out into the field and supporting, and all of us running together. So I think if you guys did that, it would have been completely different, even with the crew that you had. So,
okay.
Yeah, totally agree.
I agree with that. And I don't want to brag or anything, but if you do look at the YouTube video at around 3 minutes or 3 hours rather, 3 minutes and 9 seconds, that's where I shot Karma with that beautiful cannon shot, both to you and Empy's jubilation, and Karma, started letting out some profanity and
flag contested.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of a statement of what can be done with the cannon. We started out we started out in the northeast corner, and by the time the game was over, my cannon was like plains or something. So
yeah,
the key principle to remember is that you always need to creep your cannons forward, and you need to maximize the sort of pressure that you can put on the other team with your cannon fire. And you could really only do that by moving forward.
Yeah, completely. I would say that, because that was just sort of the fun games after the tournament. Yeah, the multi S4 game that we were talking about. I feel like I owe you a big apology for that game. I was just completely on Pluto, and I didn't even realize you gave me a unit that game at the end. And I was just watching your cannon move around for that last like 4 minutes. So that's my bad there. That's the ugly. That's the follow-up ugly for the tournament. Okay.
Yeah, that's all right. All right, let's do the let's bring it home with the ugly for Team Xenophon. Empy, what do you got?
It's got to be you guys not knowing how alliances work.
Yeah, for sure.
The 20-plus-year-old game, and you guys just walked off your balls. Because we spawned, you were swamps, weren't you? And we spawned on the hill, and yeah, just a bit weird. We start walking towards the swamps, and oh, there's no one here. And then I think I saw some of your units literally just running away from the balls. So yeah, we just grabbed them, and you guys were out.
Yeah, it was. That was
It's
a
a bit weird.
Yeah, that bamboozled us because we were talking about that while it was happening, just saying like, "Oh, should we just go?"
Where
for
the
these?
hell are they? Where are
Yeah,
they?
should we
And
just
yeah,
go
they're
for-
just not
just
there.
Go for the capture. Yeah.
Although you guys did capture, I think Karma was leading the other team. You did capture their ball, but by then I think you had like 2 soldiers and a cannon left.
Yeah, it went pretty quickly after that. Yeah, that was. I just didn't understand. I thought everyone like understood the fundamentals of that game. I didn't think there was any skullduggery happening. But yeah, it's.
It was self-inflicted if it was.
Yeah, it was rough to watch. It was like our urban game. It was just you hate to see it. You hate to see it.
Okay, so is that your ugly too, Spy? The balls on parade game?
Yeah, I
did
think
you
it
have
was
something
like just.
else?
No, it was that like just the complete breakdown in communication, I'd say, and then it seemed like just the classic move. I think it's happened a lot in this conversation is just trying to blame the game type or the tournament rules versus actually just playing the game. So I think that's what happened. I think that's what happened in that S4 game. I think just the communication broke down and it was over. I think it was over. The game was over in 3 minutes when it should have been like a 10, 12-minute long game. So yeah, ugly.
All right. So for me, I'm gonna try and go back to Stephen A. Smith here.
Do it.
Yeah. So for the ugly for Team Xenophon, Spy, I'm probably gonna go on a bit of a rant here. So I mean, if
Another one.
if you've got some yard work or you've got some stuff to take care of, I suggest you do that instead of listening to me because
No, I want to hear it. I know it's going to be poetry, buddy. You're basically a Chaucer, so bring it on.
Chaucer, okay. I mean, Chaucer, I definitely, the Canterbury Tales for life, all right. But let me tell you this. Shakespeare himself could not put into words what I saw from this player. Now, I have a certain, hold on, let me turn on this auto camera. Now, I have a certain well-respected Chinese herbologist on speed dial. I had to interrupt this person putting his lovely kids to bed last night because my stomach was in so much pain.
Game on.
You want to know what he said?
What did he say?
You want to know what my Chinese herbologist said? He said, "You've been watching too much Overdose, haven't you? All you have to do is just stop watching him. The pain will go away." And by God, he was right. That's right. The ugly for this tournament was Overdose, in my opinion. This is a player who in game 1 walks right up the middle of the map, right next to their flag, shoots a Zook right over the right shoulder of the person standing on the flag, and then what does he do? He drops dead 20 seconds later, or maybe 10 seconds later, who knows. But the bottom line is he doesn't do a damn thing. He just goes there and dies. That's a game that could have set the momentum for the entire match. It's a game that could have given us a respectable score. This is a player who, in game 4, he had the chance to redeem himself by walking up to the flag, killing a person, and taking the flag. But what does he do instead? He dies again. He doesn't do a damn thing. This is a player who in game 2, He lost his chopper
Team
in the first 30 seconds of the game, shooting missiles at the turret as if it was a 2001 Urban Recon game.
Team eliminated.
He goes in by himself, flies in a few circles, dies, doesn't do a damn thing, loses one of the 3 most important units in the game. It's over. And that's not even the worst part. You want to know what the worst part is, Spy?
I do. I want to know the worst part. Talk to me.
And you know, this is something we've alluded to, that both you and Empy have referred to in the past. In fact, just a couple of minutes ago, the Recon S4 Balls on Parade game, he literally tells his team to walk off the ball because they don't need it. He tells them to rush to South Hill. Want to know what happens next?
They lose. I think that's the outcome.
What?
Exactly. He loses the ball and they lose the damn game. What did you think was going to happen?
I don't know, man. I don't know. You were in your...
There should be an investigation into this man's behavior. I wouldn't be surprised if he was being bribed or if he was some kind of secret agent for Team Karma.
Oh yeah, the ultimate skullduggery right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just flabbergasting. I have no words for it. Again, Shakespeare himself could not articulate what I saw from this player. He can't close out games. He can't preserve key units. He doesn't know the rules. And this is supposed to be the face of the franchise? That's a whole lot of BS, man.
Oh man, we all have off days.
The bottom line is, when I think of players
Team
like
eliminated.
Ryan
Game
Leaf
over.
from the NFL, Marcus Russell from the NFL. I now have to throw Overdose in that mix. He just might be the worst of all of those 3 guys, to be honest.
Can we have some
that
footballers though? The metaphors
that
don't work on me.
Yeah, but none of us know footballers. That's the problem.
Come on, David Beckham, Ronaldo. You must know those guys.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there we go.
So
Yeah.
David
Sorry,
Beckham,
OD.
Was David Beckham a bust?
Talking
Yeah,
about busting.
he missed a few penalties that were like pretty important. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Okay,
true.
so
That's true.
Ryan Leaf, considered one of the worst quarterbacks of all time. Jamarcus Russell, one of the worst quarterbacks of all time. David Beckham, one of the worst soccer players of all time. I have to throw an Overdose into that mix now,
Oh,
and he might be the
Yeah,
worst out of all of them.
OD.
Damn.
I am just watching that rush right now. That miss Zook. That must have. What was going through your mind when that Zook missed?
Not a damn thing was going through my mind. Second of all, I'm not Overdose, so you need to contact him directly.
Yeah, I'll send him a note. I want to know how much it stung. Like, having missed those Zooks before, when you have that flawless, like, just walk right up and no one's even paying attention, and you miss that Zook, oh, it stings, buddy. It stings. I can only imagine how hurt OD must have been, just, like, pushing that emotion down deep, just so angry.
Yeah, you hate to see it. But,
You hate to see it. You hate to see it.
But you know what the worst thing is? He calls me up after the match. He says the loss wasn't his fault because he had positive ratios and he had, his stats were positive, and that look, it wasn't his fault because he put up the numbers, right?
The thing is with OD is that he's sneaky and that he's running all the Excel sheets. So who knows what could happen with those stats.
And the other thing is, you're the first overall pick. You're supposed to have positive ratios, you idiot. What do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want to give him, a cookie or something?
Yeah. Not even a thing of Ben and Jerry's ice
not
cream.
going to jail. I mean, you're the first overall pick, and then you brag about having positive ratios. It's just, I'm in utter disbelief. I'm absolutely disgusted. The audacity of this player, just he frankly needs to be executed.
Well, I mean, I think that's a bit aggressive. In Canada, we don't do the execution game like you guys do so well in the United States. But yeah, it's just maybe there's just too much pressure being the overall pick. That might have been it. So he was just getting in his own head about everything. I know I've done that. But yeah, it's just those games happen, and you hate to see it happen in the finals. You just gotta, Overdose just has to shake it off, just keep rolling with it. He's a strong player. Just has to practice those Zooks a little bit more.
Yeah, I guess so, man.
Yeah,
All
it's
right,
all
yeah.
love, baby. It's all love.
All right, Stephen A. Smith is over. All right, so I'm back to myself. Yeah, so that was the good, the bad, and the ugly, as described by Empy, Spy, and Overdose. Do you guys have any closing comments for the tournament, or just in World War II in general?
Yeah, why don't you guys go first? I feel like, especially with that interrogation, that I've been talking a lot. So why don't you guys jump in and do yours first?
Empy, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm still here. It's just I get very scared. There's people speaking in the third person and all sorts of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have heard that people who speak in the third person, they have
Normally a bit
Psychopath.
crazy. Yeah,
Yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah, do you remember that psychopathic test? It's all coming
Doctor
back to
Wu's
you.
gonna be busy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah,
I
it was a
mean-
good tournament. Good fun tournament. Lots of games. Would be nice if we played maybe a few more different maps. I guess when John God finishes Heroes, we'll be able to play some more maps. Because I think you limited it to there are about 6 maps you could pick from.
Yeah, like 5 or 6, I think.
Yeah, it'd be nice to play some of the other less well-known ones.
For sure.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I
once
mean,
it's
I
finished
agree
that-
with that sentiment. I'm going to also say that, if anyone's watching this in the next couple of days, we are planning on having some more World War II games this Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yeah, be there.
I think Karma is coming up with some kind of funky structure. Who knows what's going to come out of that man's head, but it's sure to be a good time, and hopefully, we'll get a good crowd going.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah.
But I think it's the same as you guys. That I think it was just great to have the actual tournament happen. That I think OD and I have been talking about it since I think September or so, like August, September. So it took a little while, but I think it was better to have it in the winter anyway. And yeah, I think just to have that turnout, just to have people playing again, since Myth was on life support for the last 5-6 months. So yeah, definitely missed some key players from the last couple tournaments. Really strong players, but it was still fun. Everyone played really well. Just a good crew, and yeah, it was really fun to do. Really fun just to have weekly games to look forward to.
Yeah, and I would also say that we added some key players. Kryptos
Yeah,
came out of the
definitely.
woodwork. Guerrilla came out of the woodwork. X, maybe he played in some of our previous tournaments, but he showed up. He's proven to be a competent player. So people did come out of the woodwork, and
Sure.
hopefully we can get the momentum in our favor in terms of moving forward and hopefully we can get some of these games to max out at 16.
Yeah.
I think we were pretty close. The first day we got up to 15, I think.
Yeah, I think we had a couple full games off randomly, and then yeah, it seemed to be usually around 14. That seemed to be our sweet spot. But
Okay, well, I mean, in general, that is the sweet spot. So, yeah, I mean, I think the games are good, but if there's anyone listening, that means we have 2 extra spots that need to be filled, and hope we'll see some of you guys out there.
yeah, super fun, guys. Yeah, no, just thanks so much for all the help with it. Just glad everyone could show up. It was a great time.
Yep. All right. I am stopping